When Anakin Skywalker was brought before the Jedi High Council for the first time, it was a meeting that would change the fate of the galaxy on an unimaginable scale. Qui-Gon Jinn was certain that the young boy would turn out to be the prophesied chosen one, destined to bring balance to the Force. However, Obi-Wan Kenobi and the rest of the council sensed an uneasy danger surrounding the boy, and a future clouded in darkness. Anakin himself felt the weight of prophecy bearing down on him as he entered a strange new world among the Jedi. But why did the Jedi consider him so dangerous right away? What did they think of Anakin when he was first brought before them? In the canon book Skywalker: A Family at War, which acts as a biography of the Skywalker family, this is explained, as the events of Anakin's first visit to the Jedi Temple are told in detail. When Qui-Gon brought Anakin before the Jedi Council, Anakin was much older than most who typically walk the Jedi path. The oldest initiates into the Order were typically no more than 5 years old, and even those raised some eyebrows. The Force was strong with him, of that there could be no dispute, but even under the watchful gaze of the Council, Anakin could not fully reconcile the opportunity to become a Jedi with the harsh reality of missing his mother. That emotional pull, coupled with his age, gave the wisest Jedi pause. Padawans were not expressly forbidden from communicating with their relatives, but most who were brought to the Jedi Temple as younglings felt little connection to their biological families, having been inducted into the Order as infants. After nearly a decade living with his mother, Anakin could never forget Shmi in that manner, nor could he reach her. With no way to tell her that he was safe or to know how she was doing, anxiety lurked beneath the surface of Anakin's outwardly controlled demeanor. For the first time, Anakin felt the weight of a predetermined future when, standing before the Council, he was hailed as the Chosen One. His pride swelled at the notion, the first seeds of an arrogance that would fully bloom when he reached adulthood. Qui-Gon maintained that finding Anakin was the will of the Force. Even those Jedi who scoffed at Qui-Gon's fervent belief in prophecy could not argue against the vergence in the Force that surrounded Anakin, a cosmic supernova that seemed to dwell deep inside of him. However, despite Anakin's predisposition and strength in the Force, his training would require him to overcome both emotional and physical obstacles. Even at the age of 9, he was already far behind other Padawans and younglings in basic lightsaber skills. He had often unwittingly called upon his strength in the Force to pod race, but actually harnessing the power of the Force was a very different matter. Anakin had no real understanding and therefore little respect for the Force as a spiritual guide of life. As the Jedi Council gazed upon Anakin for the first time, the wise Master Yoda sensed that Anakin was gripped by fear, and fear was a dangerous ally. For the Jedi, fear was a path to the dark side of the Force, an entry point for misgivings that could be nursed into anger and hatred. Nevertheless, Anakin's emotional response to his situation, including his fears, was a very human reaction to the sudden upheaval he had experienced in his life. Qui-Gon believed that, with the proper guidance, Anakin's natural anxieties would subside and be replaced by a Jedi's clarity of vision. If he was correct, Anakin would bring balance to the Force, defeating the creeping darkness that was already beginning to cloud both the Force itself and the Jedi Order's ability to perceive the threat to it. However, where Qui-Gon saw promise, Obi-Wan and many on the Council sensed trouble. Obi-Wan did not hide his concern, even from Anakin himself. The boy's raw power in the Force was something to be wary of. He was malleable, and in the wrong hands, such explosive potential could be turned to evil. Few were surprised that Qui-Gon defied the Council's initial adverse reaction to his request to train the boy. With Obi-Wan almost ready to become a Jedi Knight, Qui-Gon would be free to take a new Padawan, and he was determined that it should be Anakin, once the Council came around to the idea. Anakin's relationship with the Council and the rest of the Jedi Order is something that I've always found very interesting. As Baylan Skoll said, everyone in the Order knew Anakin Skywalker. He was regarded as the Chosen One, and everyone knew about the rumors of the prophecy. Some Jedi believed he was their savior, while others scoffed at the idea and didn't know what the balance of the Force entailed. Nevertheless, despite openly regarding him as the Chosen One, the Council in particular never fully trusted Anakin. Despite his raw power and his impressive skills, he consistently showed that he lacked the discipline and control of an ideal Jedi. Anakin, however, maintained that the Council was disrespecting him and tried to hold him back because they were afraid of him. That's one of the most interesting details in Revenge of the Sith, particularly the novelization, where Anakin feels more and more disrespected by the rest of the Jedi, to the point that he sees them as his enemies once they ask him to spy on Palpatine. The Jedi Order of Anakin's time had already lost its way, as the Masters on the Council had become so detached and political that they couldn't see they were leading themselves to their own destruction. Anakin really needed a master like Qui-Gon, who was less rigid and more compassionate, and knew that the dogma of the Jedi had gone down the wrong path. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.